Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Just before we begin, thank you so much for all the support. For some reason, my last two videos kind of exploded and we got up to like 250 extra subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Thank you so much for that. Today we have a viewer-submitted match. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've started a Discord server so that you can interact with me and request matches and even potentially like submit your own to be looked at. And so, yeah, this is a viewer-submitted match. Now we have young Damain Gaston versus Lucas Brito, and I believe that Damain is our young blue belt friend, and Lucas is our black belt in this super fight. Now I don't know what white line promotions are or anything like this, but he asked me to review the match and then potentially like critique him and help him out with what's going on. So of course, Damain, happy to do this. Let's get into it. Alright, oh sorry, hang on a second, I need to back up a little bit. So we're here, the match starts, you know, we got Damain on the left, Lucas on the right. You know, you mentioned this to me as well, Damain, when we were chatting. You were nervous, and we can very much see that. You know, part of jiu-jitsu as well is pretending like you're on top of the world. So next time you get invited to a super match, you got invited to it for a reason. So act like you've been there. You know, like you're good at jiu-jitsu, man. I watched this video before. You're good at jiu-jitsu. So act like you've been there, and just give it a go. You know. So immediately we have like grip fighting. I like this this hand positioning where we're interlacing fingers and sitting down immediately. So that this is good. We have this disconnection and then an engagement into the guard. So it looks to me like Lucas kind of were a bit nervous about fighting a blue belt and losing. So he was trying to like win straight away. You know what I mean? When we're here and this type of thing, Damain, you're doing really well with this type of positioning, but it kind of felt like you were on the back end and maybe a little bit frenetic, and so you were moving too quickly without really doing much with your hands. Do you know what I mean? So this one should be hunting for an underhook, or you should be hunting like head closer to the inside space, that sort of thing. This elbow's flared too far wide, you should tuck it in, that type of thing. And so, you know, Lucas is on top doing a really good job of keeping you at bay, but also I feel like at the moment you were kind of being a bit passive, you know. And when we're here like so, for example, you know, you should be attacking. You don't see Gordon Ryan just sitting and waiting. So pull this elbow, flare it wide, kick your foot through, attack this side, you know, sit up, grab on to his leg, that sort of thing. Roll to the inside, lift the leg, go into a single leg X and start attacking straight away. Don't just sit there and wait for your opponent to do much. The next thing that I saw as well, mate, were these hooks, right? This one specifically, you've got like a flat foot. You want to be a bit deeper with the hook, and then you want to be flexing your toes back towards your knees, and then always upwards pressure into the other person's hip, because that, when he's trying to do his like back steps and things, you'll just naturally follow him for free, and you won't have to try and read what he's doing. You'll kind of be stuck in the mud, and you'll be sticky to him, and it's just going to be a nightmare. And what Lucas is doing is really good. He's trying to control that priority knee and priority leg, but because you've got the other leg, he's kind of stuck in the mud. So you should be really active with that hook, pulling him in with a hand, lifting him tall with that hook, because frankly his posture is pretty bad. He's just getting away with it because you're being lazy here, and because your bum is so far away from his, he's getting away with it, you know. And so we're going to be here. He tries to step out of it. You know, you weave, you put your leg on the inside again, and to be honest with you, that's a bit of a mistake. you should be weaving wide, like short, sharp weaves, but over the top. So don't just place your foot directly in where it sits and doesn't do anything. Weave it over the top and go to the shoulder, or go to the far shoulder. This near side shoulder with your foot would be significantly better because it would stop him from being able to come in. You know, placing things in the way is not the same as doing things with things in the way. You know, if that makes sense. So what Lucas should be doing now, this hand of his left hand is kind of a bit useless at the moment. He should be holding on to it with his right hand. And his left hand should either, his right hand should be hunting for your hip as the left is going towards the knee, that sort of thing. And then he should be starting to pass around the side or look for a knee cut. Now, I'll speak a little bit about your frames as well, mate. These frames on the floor aren't doing anything. They're not doing anything. What you need to be doing is you need to be using your core to crunch your hips up and your shoulders up and just get used to that type of crunch. So you can start using these frames to meet shoulders and hands and control the wrist. So your right hand here should be controlling the wrist as your left hand is over the top, ready to frame, like we saw Victor Hugo do in that match. He's got a beautiful guard because he's like an upside down beetle. And so this type of inaccuracy will just lose you the match, because what will happen is if Lucas had his positioning correctly, he would just smash in, and then by the time you bring the hands into the fight, he would already be on the inside space, and you'd just have a mighty grind to get back into the fight, you know. And so luckily he's not very good, but, you know, that's all right. And so like, again, you were kind of like flip-flopping decisions. You know, this hand came up and then came back down, and then it came up again and then it came back down, and you kind of just need to stick with what you're doing. Have your hands out, ready to meet him, despite him being away from you, if that makes sense. And so this guard here, because he's not actively passing right now, you're actually very safe, and as long as you keep your knees into your chest and have your hands ready, there's not much he can do, so you don't need to panic, right? Don't need to panic. And you sit up, and if he were, again, like, more confident, I guess, that, like, hands on the floor, pulling your bum backwards would be a mistake, because he would just smash the hands down and then start passing around the side in like a scrimmage pass, or you'd hunt in with a foot and then go into knee cut and keep you on your back, keep you having to shrimp away as he hunts to control the J-line. Now, again, I'm sorry if you feel like I'm being a bit harsh, but this butterfly positioning is not good either. You know, it's not that good either, because you'll see your body positioning here, mate. It's kind of like a right angle. You want your bum to be further back than your head, so that when he starts trying to push you, it's hard, because you're like an acute angle being spiked into the ground, not like a lever being rotated over the top where your core and your strength holds you forwards. You want the body positioning to be doing the work for you, and you want to have your head and back solid and strong, so that snap down guillotines and things don't really work. And you want to have your hands up in front of you, like your hands should be here, that sort of thing, where you're ready to meet his hands so that he can't just snap your head down, that sort of thing. But instead what happens is you lean backwards. If I saw someone do this to me, or when I see people do this to me, I go, thank you very much, I'm about to pass your guard, you're going to lose. This right here, you leaning backwards and not meeting him, is a game-ending mistake. You will lose this match because of this, if he knows what he's doing. And so instead of, you see how you're starting to lean back because you're getting hesitant, meet his knee. Turn your head to the side, like watch me a second. Turn your head to the side and meet his knee, kind of like you're doing a tackle. And then all of a sudden he steps into a very solid, strong butterfly guard with a single leg, like a single leg tackle wrap. His posture is not good because your hips will be below his. You'll be really close to him. Your head will be hidden on his thigh. His hands will be too tall to start attacking your neck. And then you'll be able to scoop in and lift him quite nicely and easily, and then he'll lose the match. This is a game-ending mistake from him. Fortunately for him, you made a worse game-ending mistake by stepping backwards. And now you see, it's leaning backwards. And now you see how, because you leant backwards, lifting him with your hook and your arm is quite difficult. So this and this arm and hook become less efficient, especially because you're not flaring your toes backwards. And so you should be forwards. You know, you're on an offensive position right now, but you're acting defensively. And then, you know, like, I don't know what this is. You have a clear-cut plan with these hooks, and you're not doing anything with them. You had a plan, and then you completely kind of fucked around with the arms. Don't bother with that. Just get your sticky hook in, pull your bum out to the side, then back in so that your head is on the chest. And then when you start to rotate to the inside, kick tall with your leg, and then pull his leg into your armpit for the single leg X and start attacking him straight away. Put him on the defensive. You know, don't let him have a chance to breathe. And this is how you'll beat people that are better than you. And you're kind of not doing anything with that hook. And you see how this foot, your left foot again, is passive and not doing anything. So you're having to reinforce with the incorrect leg. There should be a driver off the floor, or your bracer on the hip, or able to rotate underneath his leg and help with the lift, or like elevator sweeps up and over the top. And so because of this and because of your posture, your position's quite weak right now, especially because this arm as well, your hands are doing the work. So you're like bicep curling in rather than scooping in with your elbow and heaving with your back. And so because of this type of thing, Lucas is getting away with a lot of lazy play, and Carney, you only got into that position here because he's not very good. Well, I won't say he's not very good. He's not playing as accurately as he could. So he's stepping back and kind of messing this entire position up when he should be trying to lengthen you out like he had you before, and just tucking this heel in behind him and going into like a like you're sitting in close guard, basically. And so you managed to lift him because he's so tall and he started coming forwards, and now we're into this nice single leg X wrap. Very good job. But again, that was his mistake, not your prowess. Very good sweep. Very, very good sweep. Very well done. And so he starts to look to attack your leg. I don't know why he did that. That's anyone with a black belt should know that from that position you're not going to get a footlock. You know, you don't have the leverage because your hip isn't underneath the thigh. And what you can do to alleviate this pressure is just pull your bum forwards. You're not going to get the leg lock. And you can see how he's just busted out like a lot of effort. Look at his face. He's busted out a lot of effort just to try something that won't work, when in reality what he should be doing as soon as he gets swept is trying to free this leg, tuck it in behind, get back on top and pressure you, because a single leg X position, if you know how to beat it, is very difficult to play for the person on bottom. And so we get into this position where he goes for like a belly down footlock, but because he doesn't have that leverage and he can't turn all the way to his belly because you kept control really nicely of this leg, well done, you kept control, he's forced to try and go for the plan that I said he should go for to begin with, giving you an advantage right now. Now, I don't know what rule set you were playing under, because, you know, blue belts versus black belts seem like a fun super fight type thing, but I'm assuming heel hooks and things are on the table. To that end, don't go for straight ankle locks, because when was the last time you saw Gordon Ryan straight ankle lock anyone? They don't generally work because they're part of the tech. Like that, I'm not saying they can't work, and if it's your preference, don't go for them. It's just they're easier to defend than they are to attack. And in general, you want to be practicing techniques that are easier to attack than they are to defend, because that's just going to give you advantage. And so if you're wasting your gas tank trying to pull on an ankle lock where your forearm is padding his Achilles tendon because you don't have it set right, then it's going to be troublesome, if this makes sense. And so we get into this nice single leg X position. Honestly, mate, you could do with some more hip crunches. Your groin should be behind his knee, this sort of thing. And then if you were further up with your hips, you'd have a lot more joy at off balancing Lucas on top here. And so he goes for this leg drag. Again, I don't like what I just saw from Lucas at all. Like, I don't like what I saw from him at all. Now, again, like, passing guard is for people who can't leg lock, so I'd rather pass guard all day long. But with this leg drag that he goes for, he gets this really nice position, and he's winning right now. He should be winning. All he needs to do to start winning really comfortably is bend his right leg. If he squats and he starts encouraging this ankle backwards, I know you have hold of it, but he's encouraging it backwards, and he lifts his foot off the floor and then starts dropping his knee down onto your chest. As he leg drags across, puts his chest in behind your knee, pushing down, and then starts using this leg as an outrigger somewhere out here, and using his hands as an outrigger, you will never sweep him. He will be folding your diaphragm in half, and then you'll end up passing to back or to mount. And he will just win. He's very clearly winning from this position. But he doesn't go for that for some reason, and I don't know why. He seems obsessed with a leg lock, and instead he puts himself drastically off balance. Like, look at how big of an overreaction this step is. Look how much of an off balance this is. If you just speared your hips up, and then rotated to the outside, you would sweep him right now, because he's off balanced himself so badly. And so he goes for this back step and starts trying to attack your foot that he spent so much effort. He like pushes it back down, that he spent so much effort trying to like drag it over the top. And so he's just wasted his effort. He's given you a reap. He's exposed his heel. He's losing really badly right now. If you just pop this elbow over his heel, and he has to respect this and start fighting it. Because if it's a difference between a tight toe hold or a tight heel hook, and we're going, okay, you start with the toe hold, I'll start with the heel hook, we'll both wrench, I know that more likely than not, you'll tap out before I do because I've got the heel. So right now he's just flip-flopped between two decisions and hasn't made a decision one way or another. And so he went from winning to kind of actually really badly losing, but fortunately for him, you didn't capitalize because you didn't. I don't know what the rule set is here. Maybe you can't go for heel hooks, but you didn't reap him, and you didn't start exposing the heel to the inside. Rather, you tried to go for another single leg X sweep to the outside, you know. And so now he's got the right idea. You see how he's bending the knee now, and I'm pretty sure you can feel in this match how that's hard, especially because you've got the hip disconnection. So trying to like lift and look at all this space in here, your heel should be taller up his body, so you get more surface area of your legs attached to him. I'm pretty sure that you're feeling in this match, and you'll remember this, that this was a hard position to play for you. And so we get to this position where he just spazzes the fuck out and does like a barrel roll through. And it's a good thing you let go of his leg there so he didn't wrench his knee in half, you know. I don't know. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm looking at. This type of movement that Lucas went for will once again lose him the match if you manage to get this heel under his leg and do a backward roll and pull his leg through, because you'll end up in a knee bar. If you tuck this foot in underneath his leg, and you'll end up in a knee bar, or you'll end up sweeping him, because look at how off-centered his hips are. They're going down. His only support is this hand, so he can't use it to attack your leg. It's just, I don't know what that movement was, and he could have taken mount instead of trying to do like a front flip thing to top of a north-south, but you know, that's how it goes. And he manages to sprawl all the way out, which is good. But he just spent all of that effort going from guard to guard to guard to guard, jumping on a straight ankle lock that won't work, to trying to wrench on a straight ankle lock that once again won't work. And if this works, I will be sad, you know. And he uses it as a sweep because you respected it too much. You know, you respected it way too much. And so he jumps through, dives in, tries to lift you, fucks it up, tries to push the heels in. You're doing a good job here, but just drop your bum to the ground and pull your knees in to your chest. And then the guard passes over. And then he latches on, because you push away, you give him a leg when you didn't need to. He's not passing your guard, he's just kind of pushing your heels in. And because, again, it comes back to that mistake with your hands aren't doing anything, and your knees are way too far away from your chest. Because of this, and you push out, you give him a leg lock attack, which is going to be detrimental. So he sits on it, it's like a toe hold type thing. You're doing the right thing, turning to defend. Look at his face, he's really cranking that. Look at your face, you're just chilling. And then you defend this really nicely, so good job. You know, he tries to pull it into a 50-50 type position. He goes for another steamer lock. You pull yourself forward, defend really nicely. I personally would love to see you put this foot to the outside of his body or to the far side of his body, near side of his body, because now you're starting to win. You know, if you can't get it back in between his legs, commit to a deep 50-50 and then try and draw this knee back and get up and on top. Because he's doing like a lot of effort wrenching this shit on when it won't work, so you can just work to get on top and then start winning, you know. And instead, because you respect it too much, you allow him on top. And again, I can't stress enough this sticky hook, my man. Like this foot that's not doing anything should be toes flexed back towards your knee, actively pushing into his bum to try and lift him, and he will feel much more off balance here. Much more off balance. So stop the match, they reset it, they get into like this position again. Slap hands, fist bump, we go. Back into a single leg X. Now again, this is lazy. This is a lazy position. You can't be resting when you're in a position like single leg X, because single leg X, I don't respect it at all in the gi. I was starting to really respect it in no gi, but from what we've seen of Gordon Ryan and Nicholas Marangali, how easily they defend heel exposure with the inside hand on the inside hip, flaring the knee out, it becomes more easy to beat again. You know, you still have to respect it, but it's easier to defend than it is to play nowadays because of the new methodology. So you can't be lazy here. You have to be working, and to that end you have to be sticky hooking, lifting, moving your hips in, trying to shift them off balance one way, the other, expose the heel for the heel hook. This arm, you'll never get a straight ankle lock, so you may as well go for the Leandro low wrap, which is, instead of going from over the top to the outside, you go over the top to the inside, hooking like you're showing off your bicep. That aids to help off balance him by lifting his leg towards you. You can pass it over your head, start hunting his back, because it's like doing an inversion for free. You can transfer from single leg to X guard standard, and then you can start winning, you know. And so you see how easily he stripped that outside hook because you were being lazy, without your hips being up and not chomping in enough. And so we're here. Yep, you see how like you lengthened him out, but you lengthened him out really well. But because this wrap wasn't a Leandro low wrap where you go underneath the leg, the extension didn't off balance him, so it accomplished nothing. And now he's starting to pass again. I like what you did there. I like what you did there. You capitalized on his mistakes here. He stepped way too far forward. Like, again, this is a massive overreaction, and he shouldn't be doing this because he's off balancing himself for free. you know, this is a critical mistake. Instead, he should just be squatting, trying to force this knee to the side and down while he tucks his foot in and behind your bum, maybe controls your head. This hand is on the floor, this foot is an outrigger, and then he just starts encouraging that way, head to the inside space to pummel your chin back to the other side. Then your knees will be facing one way as your head faces the other. Your spine will be all twisted, and you will lose power. He will pass around to side, and then the best you can hope for is a Granby roll back to guard, you know, or he'll take mount and you're back and you'll lose. So he's kind of fucking this up pretty badly. You see how he came so far forwards, and because he didn't have a base with his leg, you were able to capitalize by putting your foot back on his hip and then doing like a backward roll. So it's very good capitalization on a mistake. But again, straight ankle locks are kind of like a bit iffy over whether they'll work. And I know Mikey Musumeci does them really well, but I'm not Mikey Musumeci, neither are you. We should do the higher percentage stuff. It's like making an argument for omoplatas, you know, doing omoplatas because Clark Gracie does them, but statistically they're like, I don't know, 12th on the list. So it's kind of like ignoring a rear naked choke in favor of an omoplata if you had the opportunity to set both up, and then being surprised when you fuck up the omoplata. You should be attacking the heel, because look at how much pressure you can put in just by chomping this knee down on his knee to stay to keep it in place. You will be able to attack that heel and make him respect it far more than you have to respect his own straight ankle lock. And he doesn't have any ability to stop your knee from flaring out, so your heel's popping out now, and so he won't get this leg entanglement where you will, because your positioning is better than his right now. Don't be lazy with single leg X, for reasons discussed already. Stick your hooks. Don't be lazy with them. This is the perfect time to go for Leandro low wrap. Again, he's going for a leg lock that just probably won't work, and you don't really have to respect it, because as he's on the way up, as you're hunting under the leg, you just lift your hips and then it's all dead, you know. And he tries to sit down and attack you, but meh. Perfect defense. You had sticky hooks for a second, you let them go. Again, you're not sitting up enough. You're being too defensive when you're given an opportunity to attack. And you're being way too defensive. Like, look at this disconnection. You're not pushing your foot in. You're not trying to weave this leg anywhere. You're not doing anything with your hand. The only point of connection you have is kind of your fingers of your left hand on his ankle, and this type of mistake, he'll just step out and then start going around the side and start passing. And then, as you know, being in the bottom of a guard is way harder than being at the top. And finally, Lucas starts to look to pressure in, but he kind of sucks at the technique, so he doesn't do it right, so you manage to flare your knee. Yeah, finally he starts looking to pass a guard properly, you know. The only difference between this position and a single leg X position in what you should be doing is whether or not this leg is in front of the thigh or on top of the thigh or in front of it, as you can see, underneath it. What he's doing right now is exactly how you should be trying to pass a single leg X, and I don't know why he wasn't doing it before, because this leg becomes a killer of your bottom one, and then it's much easier to start pummeling this knee down. So Lucas is doing a good job of controlling that leg. You've done a very good job trying to re-guard, lifting him and all the rest of it. You should be sitting up into the attack now. You know, and he tries to go for his leg drag and he pummels, but you push him away. It looks like you're getting a bit tired now. Looks like he's getting a bit tired now. Difficult fight. Nice. Good job. Stop leaning back in a butterfly guard. Stop. No. Never do that again. Never do what you just did again. you see how what happened here, you see how you went from a butterfly guard onto your back. You just cut out 40% of your guard for free. You just allowed him to pass 40% of your guard for free, because you can always retreat onto your back and start shrimping if you need to. If he's pressuring your butterfly, you can't always sit back up and into him, like sit back up and into him from your back. So if you can, start playing much more from butterfly, and like an active butterfly where you're leaning forward. Again, bum further back. So this is your bum, this is your head. Your hands should be out here like this, meeting him, and then that way with your feet, because they sit like that, right? Your hands should be further forward than your feet. So he doesn't have access to your feet before you have access to his hands. If he tries to reach for your head, you can dive forwards for a tackle or scoop your bum in to lift him up, and so on and so forth. So let me draw that again for you. Head, body, bum, leg, knee, and foot, hands further forward than your feet. So that when old mate here tries to walk forwards, his hands can't reach your feet before your hands reach his hands. I hope that drawing made sense. If you rock onto your back, you give him so much progress for free. So much for free. And then there's no follow-up on top of him to try and get on top right here. So yes, he's doing a good job controlling that sticky hook, but in your half guard, I want you to start doing away with the knee shield, because you see how he's controlling your ankle. Instead, with your half guard, try this thing where you have your half guard in, but your top leg is a reverse knee shield. So put your knee on the other side of his body as your shin goes through to his hip and your feet go under his bum. So you end up with a sticky hook, a half guard, a knee to the outside, which functions as a knee shield and a knee block. So now when he tries something like what he's about to do, instead of him controlling your leg, your foot would be here, so you can lift him and then just roll up and on top. And he tries to pass the guard. He does a good job recovering that leaping back step, whatever nonsense. But again, he's too tall. Lucas is too tall here. He should be. He's not doing anything to hunt for the inside space. He's not doing anything to control your hip. So you have all the freedom right now to start using your sticky hooks. So use this bottom leg to reinforce under your heel. Sticky hooks into his body and then lift him. The way you lift him is not by extending your legs. You set them strong with the sticky hook. So if you try flexing your toes back towards your knee, you'll notice the front of your shin tenses, and that sets your knee, that sets everything in motion. Then use your ab crunch to pull your knees in, which will help lift him. Then extend your legs tall, and then you'll get underneath him for inversions and all that sort of stuff. So you're doing a very good job, but there's some critical flaws with the body positioning, my man. And a better black belt would have smoked you, like absolutely smoked you. But you're doing a very good job standing up to him, especially in front of an audience as big as it is. And this is a nice little back and forward, but again, I don't see him trying to hunt in for the inside space, and every single small person on the planet, see how he leant backwards? Bam, meh. Bad technique, bad pressure technique that he's trying. Every single small person on the planet goes, I can't be heavy like you, Josh, because I'm small. And I started jiu-jitsu at 68 kgs, which is like 130 pounds. Don't you fucking tell me how small is small. I learned pressure technique from day one, and it's technique just like everything else. It's not about being heavy. And so you can 100% learn it, and Lucas is displaying that he doesn't know it right now. And so he's giving you a lot of opportunity to come back into the fight because of his lack of knowledge. Whereas if he had known how to pass guard with any semblance of pressure, the mistakes that you've been making so far that we've been discussing would have cost you this whole match, because you would have got caught under mount, and then probably because he's a bit lighter, you'd be able to roll to your belly, and then he would have taken you back and choked you, basically. And that exact sticky hook that I was talking about, what you just had, is exactly what I was meaning when I said butterfly hook with a half guard. Put the half guard in, sticky hooks with your bottom leg, put this knee underneath his armpit, and then you'll have a lot more joy, because you'll have a much larger ability to sit up back into butterfly guard and start getting underhooks and attacking sweeps properly. Sticky hooks, you need sticky hooks all the time. Look, sticky hooks all the time. Very good job. I would like to see you doing much more to hook under his leg and start again. Sticky hooks, knees into your chest, encourage him upwards and make him react so that you can sit up and start wrestling up, that type of thing. And you, like, I think that you could have won this match actually relatively easily if you had just had sticky hooks and a little bit better of an understanding of like when to attack, to be honest with you. I really think you could have won this quite convincingly, because you very clearly know leg entanglements, and you very clearly know and work like inversions and things, which is what Lucas looks to do. And so if you had sticky hooks, I really believe that you could have won. And I think it was much closer than maybe what you were suggesting in the chat the other day, my man. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish with putting this foot in front of his shin. It's not doing anything. It's weakening your guard. If Lucas stops focusing on the outside leg and just focuses on this one and just pushes it across while he flares his knee to the side, his knee will pop past yours and then get to your hip, and then you'll be trying to weave. But if he got his head to your chest and blocked your hip with his left hand, he would pass the guard because of this mistake. So really what you should be doing, and maybe get your coach to help you with this, is that ask him to watch you roll, and then at any point he should be able to say, what's the plan here? Why are you doing that? And you should be able to go, oh, I wanted to try and get the hook on his ankle and then transfer my grip underneath his legs, sit up and then roll to the inside to do an elevator sweep up and over the top, coach. And if you can't give an immediate answer and you go, I don't know, why did you move your leg? Is kind of what you need to be asking yourself. And so it's a cause and effect thing, you know. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Very nice work. You see how you're finally starting to use your hands when he gets too close, but you should be raising your hands to meet him before he ever gets close. Very good work bringing them in, though. Nice attempt at the kiss of the dragon. He was too low, though, and so you did very well recovering that guard. Now, finally, he was pressuring in, but I don't know why he's lifting his head and pushing on that shoulder with the hand. Like, he should be rotating this hip in to pressure this knee down as he continues to control the inside space, using this hand as like a poster and a thing to deal with your wrist as he pushes on your shoulder and your chin with his head. And then that way he'll weaken your guard and he'll actually pass. But I don't know what he's doing, you know. And then that's what allows you to re-guard, because Lucas was doing so well there until he, I don't know, decided it wasn't working, I guess, and then went for something else. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing to see a black belt lack sort of critical basics like this. In any case, I really think you did a very good job, my man. I think you did great. I'm pretty sure that Lucas only won just because he had 4 leg attacks in the mix there, and because you never tried to sweep him. And so, like, I really believe that if you just had sticky hooks and were like encouraging him up, you potentially would have won this match. You know, you're doing really well, and you were so close to greatness a lot of the time. And so I think you should keep training, and I really think you should focus on your sticky hooks and crunching in, and stop fucking sitting back onto your back when people start stepping towards you. If someone steps towards you like what he did, where was it? We'll try and find it. If someone steps towards you like this, you go, thank you very fucking much for a free leg, cunt. I'm going to take that and I'm going to lift you and I'm going to absolutely destroy you now. Even if you just wrestle forward and put pressure on the knee to the inside. If someone does this, you do not lean back. You go, thank you very much for the Christmas gift. It's coming early. I'm going to take it. I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to win, you know, and it's very hard when people make this mistake for them, you know. So stop sitting back. Stop falling onto your back too early. Sticky hooks. Crunch your knees into your chest. Meet him with your frames to begin with. Have a plan. And those are the primary things you should work on for now. Anyway, my man, very good work. Very impressive jiu-jitsu. You're going to be very, very good. I'm excited to see more. Thank you for giving me this match to analyze. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I'll speak to you soon. As for everyone else, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the first ever viewer-submitted match. Once again, we have a Discord server, so jump into that if you would like to. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Peace.